Wonderful, great. Okay, well, welcome everybody and welcome to the Alumni Champions launch. We're really excited to be sharing this with you this morning. I'm Lucy Brown, I'm the Deputy Director of the F&F Academy, and I'll be welcoming you all today and doing some Q&As at the end. I'm going to run through the agenda this morning with you. We've got quite a packed agenda for the next hour. The next slide. I say thank you. So welcome from myself. I'll be handing across to Greta, who's joined us, our incredible Chief Exec, who's going to be giving some words of wisdom. Then we'll hand across to Professor Gemma Stacey, who's going to give an overview of her vision of the Alumni Champions Network. And then we're really excited to be welcoming Colette Datt from North Middlesex University Hospital as our guest speaker, who's done an enormous amount for the Alumni Network already and really championing what we do at the FNF. So really excited to be hearing from Colette this morning. And then Adam, our Alumni and Membership Manager, will be sharing about next steps, how you can get involved, which we're really excited about. And then there's time for a Q&A session with myself, chaired by myself. So if you want to put anything in the chat box or raise your hand, your virtual hand, and then we'll take any questions and then we'll close. So really looking forward to an action-packed agenda this morning. Just to make you aware, we are recording this, so we will share it across our socials, and you can share it with your colleagues if anyone would like to get involved as well. So without further ado, I'm going to hand across to Greta, if she's ready. Morning, Greta. Lovely to see you. Who's going to give a bit of a welcome and introduction to you all. Thank you, Greta.
Can you see my video?
We can see you in lovely Technicolor.
I'm just going to put my head in front of something that I didn't realise was on the screen. I was on Teams and I was able to put the background as blur, but I can't on Zoom. Anyway, it's not that interesting, but it is hanging up, trying to dry. So good morning, everyone. It's an absolute pleasure to see so many of you on this call. I don't really need to say too much about what it means to be an F&F alumni, because you all get it. You're all on here because you want to create the next network, the biggest network of F&F alumni. And this F&F Champions Network has been on our agenda probably for about, well, the whole of this business year, so since April, as a way of using your skills, using the passion that you have for F&F as a catalyst to spread the love, spread the passion again amongst your colleagues. And we particularly asked for F&F alumni if they'd be interested in champions within regions and within countries, so regions of England and the UK countries. And I've looked down the list and I think, well, I don't really need to say anything about it, frankly, because you all get it. So all I really want to say is thank you for this. Thank you for your support. Thank you for always flying the flag for F&F. You know how much it means to your career. You know how much has happened as a result of you being an F&F alumna or alumni. And I just want to say thank you for always wanting to be our ambassadors. I know through, and you're about to hear through Colette, I also know through colleagues in Portsmouth and other organisations across England, particularly, and actually more recently in Wales, we've got a ginormous amount of current scholars who will soon be alumni. So I absolutely know that you're trying your best to galvanise support in your organisations, and we'd love you to carry on doing that. I think there might be a sub-level of F&F Champions Network, and that's F&F Champions Network in your organisation. So in your organisation, you'll hear from Colette in a minute, and then at regional level, representing your country, and then individual countries. So as an alumni, or alumna, should I say, get it right, Greta, singular of female, as an alumna, I totally get it. I know what difference it's made to my organisation, to me, my organisation, to this organisation, and I just want you to carry on spreading that word and finding the next generation of F&F scholars. So I don't need to say anything else, actually. Lucy, thank you so much.
Thanks, Greta. I'll hand across to Gemma.
you, Greta. And it's just so lovely to see so many familiar faces on the screen. I feel like I know every single one of you that I can see now, and that feels it's so special. And I think the reason why you all feel so familiar to me is because, as Greta said, you are already our champions. You've been through our programmes and scholarships, and you are already flying the flag for F&F. And really this whole scheme is about rewarding you for that commitment, and also enabling you to network together, because we know that this critical mass that we're creating is far more powerful when we join you all together. So that's our agenda, really. This is about formalising and putting a name to what you are already doing for the organisation, and for others that you're encouraging to become part of our network. So we're just going to talk to you through a little bit more about our ideas around how the Alumni Champion Network might actually work. But this is starting from the outset. It's in that embryonic phase, and we would really love to hear from you about the things that we've not identified in terms of the potential of this network, and where your different ideas and energies might take it in directions that we had never possibly imagined. So these are real early thoughts, really, and we expect for this to really grow and gain momentum as time passes. So first of all, and again, as I said before, these are things that many of you are already doing within your organisations and regions and wider networks as well. So this is really about acknowledging that contribution. So the first thing is about you being aware of the points in the calendar year when our scholarships and our leadership programmes are about to be launched, and really using your social media presence and also your local communication channels to really spread the word in your region. And the reason why this is so important is because we don't have an equal spread of applications across the country, and also in England, and also across the 4 UK countries. We definitely have a dominance of applications coming from London and the southeast. And the reason for that is because our greatest advertising tool is word of mouth. So the more people we have in those regions, the more likely they are to tell others about it, and the more likely they are to support and encourage others to apply. So this is a way of actively addressing that. We need to build our profile so we have equal amounts of applications coming from Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and the North and the Midlands. So that's a big part of this agenda. And you will know yourself that sometimes, and I know Becky mentioned this to us, one of our current scholars, Becky Thomas, that sometimes people think this is an opportunity that's out of their reach, that there's an exclusivity around Florence Nightingale Foundation, which means when we're talking about this is an opportunity for the real outstanding superstars, that some of that imposter phenomenon kicks in and people start to think, oh, well, that's not me. So they possibly will need somebody local to them who's been through this process and can say that it is you. We really, really do want you to put yourselves forward for this, and I'm going to help you to take that courageous step and put that application in. And then also to help them think about what might be the areas that they should really prioritise within their application to give them the best possible chance, because you've got that inside information and you've got that knowledge of the organisation. The other thing that we're looking for the champions to do is start to help us to inform where we should be really focusing our attention as an organisation. So to make sure that the F&F is always addressing the most contemporary challenges and issues that are most significant to the nursing and midwifery workforce. So we knew from our intelligence that the digital nursing workforce was a real key agenda that we should get behind, and we've been able to achieve that. And some of our digital scholars are on the call. I can see Lisa there today, and that's just fantastic. And Lisa's testament to the potential power of this opportunity. We also know that we'll be needing to move our attention to other issues like retention, like sustainability and environmental awareness. These are the things that we know are on the horizon for us, but we need that constant intelligence to ensure that our programmes are responding to those very current issues. And it may well be that as regional groups of champions that you want to work together to address some of those issues, and think about how you might use that power of your network and all of the skills that you learn as part of your scholarships to take a particular agenda forward at a local level, or network with other champions in other parts of the country to take those things further forward. So this is about our social responsibility as a network, moving beyond what we achieved as our scholarships, and what can we do next as a kind of powerful force and influential force. We also know that our best PR, the best marketing we could possibly do, both in encouraging applications, but also encouraging sponsors to support our work in the future, is through your stories. You can tell people so much more powerfully about the impact of this opportunity than any statistic can do. So we would love it if you would be willing to offer case studies about your experience, but also to allow us to follow you on your longer term journey as well. So not just what difference did it make at the end, but in 6 months, a year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years time, what difference has it made to you and also to the people that you support through your services. We're also looking for those of you to champion some of our fundraising activities in your local regions as well, and even to host particular events. So again, you know your demographics, you know what will be the things that feel most appropriate to them. And our current group of scholars have been doing a phenomenal job. They've set a target to try and raise enough funds to support another group next year, which would be just absolutely, another scholar, sorry, next year, which would be absolutely fantastic. Sorry, my screen's going a bit crazy. I don't just move this out of the way. The other area is around ongoing funding. So our funding, as you know, comes from various different sources of commissioners, some through centralised government funding, and sometimes through individual sponsors and donors. But again, the most powerful way that you can help us to raise those funds is through enabling us to tell your story and offering us that personal account of the difference it's made. So that would be another aspect that we would love to have your help with. We will pull you together twice every year to attend a meeting in our local office and also virtually, so that we can tell you about our strategy, so you become really informed about the way that we're planning ahead for the future, and you can be part of informing that strategy as people that have been through that experience and are benefiting from it in the future. We're looking, as Colette will describe to you in just a moment, for you to create what we're calling F&F alumni communities of practice. So to seek out those within your region who have been through the programmes, understand that experience, and start to network locally and really pull together the power of that network and make decisions around what difference you might want to make as a result of that. And as mentioned before, this is not just about the short term, it's the long term impact as well. We want to be able to show those journeys over long periods of time. So this is our way of keeping in close contact with you. And also when we do get requests from the media to do various different, contribute various different aspects of thought leadership, opinion pieces, canvassing viewpoints on a particular issue, we would want.
Thank you. So really, really pleased to hand across to Colette, who has been championing the work of the F&F over the last few years. So it's a really great pleasure to welcome Colette this morning to share her experiences and how she's had an impact within her local environment too. So over to you, Colette. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you, Lucy and the team. I feel really, really honoured to be here, and I am a really proud F&F scholar. So my Florence Nightingale journey began in 2019. I was happy and successful in my job as a nurse consultant for children and young people. I developed innovative pathways. I'd had some influence and impact, but I felt a little bit stuck in terms of my career journey, what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go next. And my chief nurse at the time had done Florence Nightingale several years ago, and she said to me, "Colette, do Florence," she said. It'll give you the clarity you need to understand where you want to go with your career, and it'll also make you feel better about yourself and really, really ignite your passion for nursing. She explained to me that for her experience was like she was a jigsaw puzzle. And Florence Nightingale took her apart in a very kind and sensitive way, and then put her back together in a way that was like shiny and really, really dynamic, and really, really was a life-changing event for her. So really inspired me to apply. I did the Aspiring Nurse Director Scholarship in 2019. Started in September, and obviously the COVID pandemic hit in February. We're very lucky to have most of our sessions, we didn't have to proceed to online, so they were face-to-face, and I did Windsor Leadership. And what was really, I loved my time in Florence. What I particularly liked was the focused time out from the day job, because I hadn't had that for about 15 years. And it really gave me time to understand myself better, become more self-assured and more confident about the type of leader I am, I needed to be. I loved the personalized program. I particularly liked also the scholarship group, and I always describe it as my collegiate group. And through COVID, it was really amazing, because as we were having to write guidelines and proceed and innovate at speed, we shared so much. And actually, definitely our capability as a group of senior nurses improved as a result of that. So my program reignited my passion for nursing on scale and gave me the confidence to pursue other roles. And since then, I've done a lead nurse for patient experience at West Herts, and now I'm Associate Director of Nursing for CYP at North Mid.
Hi, Gem. I did
Hi.
step in. I went through the slides for you, but I thought while Colette's sorting out her internet, I didn't know if there was anything you wanted to add.
Gosh, we've run a fair few amount of these and not had these
I
kinds of
know.
issues, but we're like hokey cokey, aren't we, today? In and out and shake it all about. So I'm absolutely positive, Lucy, that you shared the benefits and the motivators for why we're doing this and what people might gain as a result of it. One of the things that we're really excited that's coming up in the not too distant future is a rebrand of the F&F, so the look and feel of the website, and also a learning management system will be launched, and you'll start to see some changes in the way that our comms starts to come out through the foundation. And that's something that's a real development that all the way through we were thinking, wouldn't it be wonderful if we had that alumni champion network to be able to inform and help us develop this? And certainly individuals have been part of that, but we've been able to see throughout the year how central this particular network could be. Because the thing that you will know is that it's quite difficult to articulate F&F and the experience of F&F until you've been through it, and then you really do understand the nature and the benefits of it. So who better to be that communications advisor than you guys? So that's another big aspect of that.
Thank you. I was just filling in space. I see Colette's back now. But it occurred to me when we were talking about fundraising, you don't have to cycle to Land's End to Donegreats. You don't have to run a London Marathon. However, if you did want to do that as part of your fundraising and your champion network, totally delighted. And we would support through our comms team how we can do that for you. The other thought I had was there are much simpler ways of fundraising for us, and you probably spend an absolute fortune on Amazon, using PayPal, and other platforms for spending money. You may or may not know that if you click the Florence Nightingale Foundation as your chosen charity through Amazon Smile and PayPal Giving, we get it all bounced into our bank account, and you don't need to do anything. It pops up immediately, especially if you've nominated us. Anyway, that was a time filler. But over to Colette. She's got much more important things to talk about than raising money for us. Thank you, Colette. Sorry.
Okay, apologies everybody. So just to talk about our Florence Nightingale journey at North Mid. So I came to North Mid in January this year, and I was astounded to see there were 10 Florence Nightingale scholars. In my last organisation, we'd only had 2. The thing that I noticed most about North Mid was that we had really strong chief nurse sponsorship and championing of Florence Nightingale, and that executive support for Florence Nightingale made a huge difference. There was also support for the applicants, so they got supported with their application forms and also with their interviews, and that made it reachable and achievable. And I think as there were scholars in the organisation, we were seeing scholars doing blogs, presenting at conferences, and we're hearing about their QI projects. And even more recently, in our midwifery CQC, where we got good, one of the scholarship safety scholars projects was mentioned. So the across North Mid, it felt more reachable to people. All of these inspiring individuals and role models were very obvious. And it transcended all grades. So there were scholarships, Windworth scholarships, digital scholarships, etc. So a real buzz about Florence across the organisation. Our numbers now are about 20. The other thing that happened in our organisation was leadership training was aligned to our res data and to our staff survey. So that gave more credence to the leadership opportunities, and more opportunities were encouraged and made available. And then as a group of scholars, we'd have corridor conversations and chat to each other, and we'd all be buzzing about Florence Nightingale. And we were all very focused on patient outcomes and very motivated and energetic and very positive about nursing. So we decided, why don't we get together as a group and see what we can do together, see if we can increase the volume of our nursing voice. And we were very much supported by Sarah as our chief nurse. So we started in March this year. We've had 4 groups to date. We've had speakers like Ruth May and Joan Myers. We always start our groups with sharing our challenges and sharing achievements. And we act sort of as informal, it's an informal co-consulting group where we support each other. We always have a speaker, and we also share projects so that the transferability of the knowledge is shared across the group. We've got scholars who are alumni, and we've got new scholars, and we support and guide and mentor the new scholars through the group as well. I've shared a couple of thoughts of what people have said about the group. So when I'm in the FNF space, I find the word can't is not in my vocabulary. That's from Barbara. Our group is built on a foundation of mutual trust, respect, confidentiality, and transparency. So we all feel really positive about the group, and we make the time to go because it makes us feel so much better. So what have we learned? So respite in the storm. The group provides a safe space where we can come together, reflect on our challenges and on the successes in our organisation in a safe space. We don't minute any of those conversations. We just minute, the detail of the speakers, etc. It gives us a breather, time out of our day job to reignite our passion and our energy. With the co-consulting, we support each other and we feel supported. One of the group, Natoya, described our group as a Florence sisterhood, because we network and support each other, and that happens outside of the group as well. We have a very active WhatsApp group. We share opportunities. We share if we're aware that anybody's had any success, we'll share it. If people are struggling, they'll put a message on the group, and then we'll do informal meetings outside of the group as well. Most of us are very active on social media, and when the Florence Nightingale scholarship opportunities come out, we share social media, we share across the organisation, and we link in to mentor people that want to become scholars. And in terms of sharing the projects, I think that's been really, really positive in terms of transferability of nursing knowledge across different areas. I'm a paediatric nurse, but there were lots of projects that I've become aware of that I've been able to pull into PEDS as a consequence. We've got a digital scholar in our group, and he's been able to work with our TVN nurse on Stop the Pressure, and really just amalgamating all of our experiences and knowledge. So our future plans, so we want to continue to meet every 6 weeks. We want to remain dynamic and aligned with the scholar priorities. There are so many leadership courses that we've all done, and we've sort of lost the energy created by the experience. And Florence feels very different, because within our group we've got scholars that are actively doing scholarships, and we've got people working with Florence Nightingale doing different projects, etc. So it feels very alive and vibrant. I think the other thing that's really helped with Florence Nightingale is the Nightingale front line. A lot of the people within my trust, non-scholars as well, use the front line and found it really beneficial. And I think it felt to everybody that Florence Nightingale walked the talk during the pandemic. We want to continue to support and encourage scholarship applications so that everybody knows that a scholarship is available and achievable for them. With the FNF internship programme, so at the moment in my trust, we're very fortunate to be working with Florence Nightingale, and we want not just nurses within our organisation, but the students to have the impact of the Florence Nightingale Leadership Programme. So we're piloting a very exciting internship programme at the moment. And the reason we're able to do that is because we've got mentors within the Florence Nightingale Alumni group that will support that pilot. So that might be something that other groups might want to do in the future, which would be really exciting. We remain engaged with the FNF, all of the opportunities and sustaining the links. We love the idea of an alumni champion, because we're all aware of what we achieved from our WhatsApp groups, our scholarship groups, and how we share and network. And we feel the alumni champion, particularly if aligned to scholarship groups across the country, will just magnitude all of that nursing knowledge and capability across the country. So we're very, very excited. And we think that FNF will be a barometer of excellence for nursing in all of our organisations. And I think that's it for me. And just to say thank you very much. And I'm going to hand over to Adam, who is the Alumni Membership Manager. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Colette. It's lovely to see so many familiar faces today. Thank you for joining. So the next steps. So thank you for those that have already submitted their expressions of interest forms online. We have got a link, which I'm going to send to you afterwards, which will have, if you haven't filled one in. So if you could please do that as soon as possible so I can work out the regions and the expressions of interest. If you have any other queries, please email me here on my email address. Again, I will give that to you after this meeting. So once we've chosen that, we'll be able to proceed wonderfully. Next slide, please. So being an FNF alumni champion, what does it mean? Well, we'll break it down via the letters. And by the way, thank you to Becky Thomas for putting this together. So the C stands for creating connections and being courageous. The H is exploring new horizons and honouring the FNF legacy. A is for aspiration, having a can-do attitude. The M is mentorship and motivation of self and others. P is pride in your profession and the passion to make the change. I is for acting with integrity and nurturing innovation. O is for maximising opportunities and being open to new experiences. And finally, N is for navigating everyday leadership and networking. Great words. And I'll now hand over to Lucy.
Hello all. As Adam said, there's an expression of interest form if you haven't had the opportunity to fill that out yet. It'd be really great to get to receive that from you. If you've got any questions, Adam obviously shared his email address for you to share any questions or queries, and there's a link to the website that we'll share as well, give you a bit more detail around it as well, just to revise and read what we've talked about today. So we're over to any questions now. I've seen a few coming through the chat box already, so I'm just going to go to the chat box. Please do raise your hand if you want to ask a question as well. But I'll start off with the ones in the chat box to start off with. Lots of excitement. I do love very active in the chat box today, which is great to see. Just going to scroll down. Some people like to cycle, others not so keen. Everyone likes a pen and a pad apparently, which is great. Jane's asked, are you inviting experiences from FNF scholars? She's never been asked for this before, but yes, we certainly are looking for sharing experiences of what you've got from the FNF. Adam, are you happy to share how Jane could get involved and do that? Would that be okay?
Absolutely, thank you.
Thank you. So Jane, essentially, we're always looking for alumni champions, our star alumni, as we call them, when we do share our stories through blogs, and we share them quite broadly across our socials, but also across our website as well. Please do excuse my cough. Jane, Becky's also stepped in there and said, Jane, it'd be great to do a podcast with you on the leadership log, which has been really, really fantastic. Great initiative, Becky. The team and you from the emerging leaders from this year have done such a fab job. Lucy Lewis would prefer to have a canapes evening, but we will be doing social events, Lucy, for fundraising too. So great to be involved, and also some support around Greta's topic around the PayPal and Amazon. So please do share that with your teams as well. Great time of year to get that in place as well. Jane's asked another question. Gemma, I might come to you. Can alumni be part of subsequent recruitment and awarding panels?
Well, we spotted that one. We've never done that before, Lucy. So currently, as people will know from their own experiences, that it would usually be some FNF representatives and then representatives from the sponsoring organisation that are part of the selection. That this is the reason why we want to do the alumni champions, is really the things that we hadn't thought of before, that you make these suggestions and we think through how we can make them work. So I think that would offer a really unique insight into the question that we always ask of ourselves at interview is, what difference will this opportunity make to this individual? And there's nobody better than those of you that have been through the experience to be able to inform that decision. So I think that's a wonderful idea, definitely.
Thanks, Gemma.
Just to follow up on that point around people sharing their experiences, when I was talking before, we mentioned about this being about marketing and really sharing with others the potential impact, so it would encourage them to apply and also to encourage others to fund. But the other agenda that we've got is that we really want to be able to show the impact of the organisation more widely. So not only does this make a difference to you as an individual, but what does that investment then mean to you and your practice, how you lead your teams, how that changes the way in which patients and service users engage with your service as a result of it. So all of that kind of knock-on effect, really, which we've never been able to do before, but this champion network offers us that opportunity to really be able to bring that impact together. And Mike Collins, who's on the call, who's got a real interest in professional identity, has said, actually, how does professional identity link to your engagement with FNF? And that's something that I hear really regularly is, I've refound my love of nursing. I feel that professional pride again, having been through the programme. So I would love to explore that in more depth. So lots and lots of opportunity there.
Great, thank you, Gemma. And just there's a few hashtags and discussions around the sisterhood, but obviously it's more around the family, isn't it? That was one nurse's perspective, Colette. But Florence family does sound like a great new hashtag. I know there's different connotations around family, but that's really nice. It's about supporting one another, isn't it? Great. Sandra's just asked a question about the impact evaluation will be beneficial. Absolutely. So all our programs have an impact evaluation in place. but actually we need to look at how we share that more broadly and really demonstrating the impact that scholarships have. As Gemma always calls it, you call it the F&F effect, don't you, Gemma? How you can quantify that, because I think we've all been through that process. How do we share that more broadly and really champion what we do at the F&F and how it does really transform us as individuals? So that's great. Gemma, anything you wanted to add there?
Just that's a real priority for us, is around demonstrating that impact. We're very conscious of the investment that our sponsors and our commissioners make, and we really need to be able to demonstrate back to them the kind of return on that investment. And what we know is that through hundreds and hundreds of stories, that this makes a real difference to the individual practitioner. But we need to now to be able to tell that story more confidently around the wider value and impact, and what difference it's making to the wider profession, and also to clinical excellence and policy evidence, all of those aspects as well. So yeah, that's top on our agenda for even for this year, but especially into next year.
Thanks, Gemma. Really valid question from Becky. When does this all start? As soon as possible. We like to start launching and getting everything in place. So as soon as we get the expression of interest, we'll be pulling things together. And Becky, it would be great if you could share a little bit. I hope you don't mind me jumping on, but sharing a bit about what you've done for the leadership log within your group as well. I think that's really quite insightful, the impact you've had there.
Yeah, so we...
Sorry to jump on you, Becky, I hope you don't mind.
I love an opportunity to chat. I never mind being jumped on. I'm not sure. Actually, I should rephrase that. That doesn't sound great, does it? No, so I was riding my bike one day and had a bit of a brain fart and thought to myself, how can we capture our Florence journey in a digital way, almost like a time capsule, so that we've got something that we could look back on. So it started out as something very personal to us as a group, as a group of emerging leaders. So I videoed myself whilst on the bike, by the way, which was received very well. People thought that was very impressive, and just kind of asked the question, how does everybody feel about capturing our journey in some sort of digital format? And we all agreed on a podcast as a format, because some people don't want to be in front of a camera. Some people, not naming anybody in particular, Michael Collins, don't even want to be audio recorded, or I'm working on him. And yeah, I mean, that's and from that grew what is now the leadership log, with almost 1,600 followers. We're nearly at 1,000 plays, and we launched on the 21st of October. We've got 4 episodes out at the minute. We've got many episodes recorded waiting in my back pocket. Thank you to Lucy, Gemma, scholars that have recorded with me, and other people actually who are not. So talking about that broader impact of Florence and the impact on our leadership journeys. I mean, this is really pushing. We've got listeners globally now. To be honest, I still can't believe, saying this out loud, I still can't believe we've had the impact that we've had. We have fortnightly podcast meetings. And so there's a smaller group of us that focused on it, because there were 50 emerging leaders, and I asked the question, who really, really, really wants to get involved with this? Because actually it's quite a big commitment in terms of time, volunteering time, doing the Twitter stuff, as I'm sure Jess can attest to. That takes so much time in itself, recording, getting the guests. So there's a lot of stuff gone into it. And so, yeah, I mean, So I stopped our meetings after, I think last week. So I've got to reinstate them now. And we've got a meeting planned for January, where we're going to talk about how we take it forward next year. We've got lots of exciting ideas. We're even talking about a book. So there's a special episode dropping this week, based on a blog I've written called Lessons from Peter Pan. I'm recording with Santa Claus tomorrow night. It's just, I don't know, it's just phenomenal. But it's made phenomenal by the people that I've met as a result. I may be a lone nut doing that crazy thing, but I couldn't do it without all of the beautiful emerging leaders that I've had the privilege to meet over the last 6 months. So yeah.
Thanks, Becky. Thank you. And do follow Becky and the team on the Leadership Log. It's great. It's such a great initiative. Thank you so much for sharing. I think that's just if there's any more questions in the chat box, but please do fill out expression of interest. As I said, Adam will share that with you as soon as we've finished this today. We'll send across the presentation and all the links for you to get involved, and then we'll get started straight away. No more questions, just fantastic work to you, Becky, and the team. Give you some feedback, but thank you all for attending today. Apologies for the connectivity issues, but we've muddled on as us nurses do. Thank you so much, and really looking forward to working with you all more closely as part of that broader Alumni Champion network. I'm just going to hand across to Gemma to see if she's got any final comments before we finish up today.
Just two tiny things. So one of the great things about the rebrand is that we will be having new badges, and there are, I don't know if Lucy said this, but there are specific badges and email signatures for our alumni champions. So we want to really show that this is not just about being part of the F&F community, but also about you guys going that extra mile to champion the organisation, and for us to be able to give thanks to you for doing that. The meetings that we hold either virtually or at the F&F offices will be very much about that. Thank you to you. And there will be, just for Lucy's benefit, Lucy Lewis's benefit, there will be Prosecco as part of that. I'm absolutely positive, and amongst other things. But that's part of us investing back in you, and to say thank you for all of the support that you offer the F&F. And then just finally, we did say that F&F Forever is our new strapline. This is what the Alumni Champion Network is about. It demonstrates that when you come on our programmes, it is absolutely the start of your journey with the F&F. And what we know is that the F&F is the gift that keeps on giving. It continuously enables you to further your development and your career, and believe you're capable of doing things that possibly you wouldn't have imagined before. So the Champion Network is our way of making sure that we keep the rightful resource and energy behind that. And we really are so grateful for you in terms of your interest and enthusiasm for helping us to take this forward. So thank you so much, and really looking forward to working with you all over the next year.
Great, thank you, Gemma. And Greta, anything you'd like to? I've noticed Rita just said a big thank you in the chat as well, so thank you all for being involved.
My max skills, I'm trying to find a hashtag. It's not that good. So just really fabulous. Thank you for dedicating some time to this agenda this morning. Really looking forward to you all. And if you find other scholars in your cohorts that would like to be part of this and would be happy to put in expressions of interest, it would be amazing to be oversubscribed. So in the early days, I suspect it'll be a trickle effect. And you'll be spreading the word, but just brilliant. Thank you.
Great. I'm just going to read a couple of last comments and then say goodbye. But from Sandra, she said, in times like this, we need to inspire our profession. Thank you, F&F team. And then Sean's added, great start to the week. F&F family, F&F forever. How wonderful. Thank you. What a great start to a Monday. Have a great week, everybody. And thank you so much for your contributions, and we'll be in touch soon. Take care.
Thank you, team. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.